देवेंद्र,
हेलो 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 मैम, हेलो हेलो।
हेलो हेलो। हाँ, पूरा ग्रुप जितने बैठे हुए वहां पे ज्वाइन हुए क्या?
हाँ मैम।
हाँ, संकेत
Yes, ma'am.
मास्क पहना, संकेत मास्क पहना ना?
यस मैम, आई एम देयर।
हाँ हाँ। और सामने जो 3 देविया बैठे थे वो ज्वाइन हुए क्या?
नहीं मैम, वो किसी से तो चैटिंग कर रहे हैं।
Yes,
सौरभ?
ma'am.
हाँ, ज्वाइन हुए हैं। सौरभ,
यस मैम। मैम
कैसे आज मिसिंग है तेरे
उधर
गैंग
गया।
से? सच कैसे मिसिंग है तेरे गैंग से? या आ गया कॉलेज में?
यस मैम।
कॉलेज में आ गया?
मैम आ गया वो।
अच्छा।
मैम 1 मिनट उधर ही आ जाता हूँ।
नहीं, रहने दे, उधर ही बैठ। तो अब ज्वाइन हो गए। लेट्स स्टार्ट मॉड्यूल 3 फॉरेन एक्सचेंज मार्केट इंटरनेशनल बिजनेस इकोनॉमिक्स। ओके, so when I say foreign exchange market, it is basically a market in which the currencies are exchanged or they are bought or sold. So if you have to distinguish it from a financial market is somewhere like where currencies are exchange or borrowed or lent, and it is within the boundaries of a economy. But when it comes to foreign exchange market, But when it comes to foreign exchange market, it is actually where currencies of other country, they are brought and sold. Now, when we say foreign exchange market, it is actually called as OTC, over the counter market, and there is actually no physical place where the participants meet and they execute the deals. It is more of an informal. It is more of an informal arrangement that happens between the banks, the brokers who operate in the financing center, and they purchase and sell the currencies, and they are connected to each other either through this internet, through this telephone, or they are very much into this satellite communication network, something called as SWIFT. So when we say foreign exchange market, it actually refers to the wholesale segment of a market, and it deals that takes place among the banks. When we say the retail segment deals with the banks and the customers. It is actually the dealing that happen between the banks and the customers. The retail segment, it actually refers, or it is situated at large number of places, and they cannot be considered as a foreign exchange market. So when we say foreign exchange market, it is something which is happening between banks and that too between banks of other countries. Now there are certain leading foreign exchange market in India. For example, Mumbai, Calcutta, Chennai, Delhi. These are the major foreign exchange market where the exchange dealings in India happen. The whole policy of this exchange has been brought about by Reserve Bank of India. The policy of Reserve Bank of India basically decentralizes the exchange operations, and it develops a broader base on the exchange markets. As a result, apart from this Mumbai, Calcutta, Chennai and Delhi, the Reserve Bank also allows Cochin, Bangalore, Ahmedabad and Goa to be the new foreign exchange markets. Now, when we say the size of the market, it is like foreign exchange market is the largest financial market with a daily turnover of around 2 trillion US dollars. When we say foreign exchange markets, they primarily develop to facilitate settlements of debts arising out of international trade. But these markets, they have developed on their own, and so much so that the turnover of about 3 days in the foreign exchange market is equal to whatever magnitude of world trade is happening in between goods and services. Now, the largest foreign exchange market is London, and it is followed by New York, Tokyo, Zurich, as well as Frankfurt. The business and foreign exchange markets in India has, with the grown-up years, it has shown a steady increase and the consequence of increase in volume of foreign trade. If you remember in that budget, we had shown that we have a very good amount of export happening. So that and today India also is having a very good improvement in communication system, and they have a greater access to the international. क्लास में हूँ, फोन करती हूँ आपको. They have a greater access to the international exchange market. Still, the volume of transaction that is happening in these markets are per day, if you are going to see, they are somewhat around 2 billion US dollars. And rupee is actually not internationally traded and is not in great demand. That is why you will see, if we are comparing it against dollars and pounds, we'll see that there is a very the value of rupee is very less. But when it comes to other leading currencies are basically your US dollar, euro, pound, Japanese yen, franc, Swiss franc. These are the leading currencies in the world. Like, they are in very, very good demand. Now, if we'll talk about the market hours, that is what is the time of operation, they are actually 24 hours market. It is because the markets, they are situated at different time zones and around the globe. Now, if you'll see the time zone of, if you'll compare the time zone of UK and India, we are 5.5 hours ahead of UK. So the time we close our market, they will be somewhat just beginning their market. If you see the time zone of US and India, you will see like we have a total 8-10 hours of difference between US and India. Like, we are 8 hours ahead of US. So it's a total 24 hours market because of the different markets that are situated in the different time zones of across the globes. So it is like at any point of the time, the market, any point of the time, at any place, the market would be opening. So the foreign exchange market is something which is functioning which is functioning through like 24 hours a day. However, there are specific markets there are which functions during the business hour. For example, in India, we specifically work for 9 hours. So some of the banks that are having international network or that they have a centralized control of funds management, they keep their foreign exchange market department open throughout, like they work for 24 hours a day. And the main reason being that it being a key center, they have to keep up with the development at other centers during their normal working hours. For example, if you are taking into consideration the normal working hours of UK, since we are 5.5 hours ahead, so somewhat around 11 or 12 o'clock in the midnight, we are covering the whole of UK's normal timing. We are covering the whole of UK's normal timing. So in India, the market is open for the time the banks are open for their regular business banking. And after that, the foreign exchange department of that bank opens for say 24 hours, or they open for a particular longer period of time rather than their retail business. Now, if you are talking about the efficiency, development in communication, they have a largely communicated to the efficiency of the market. Like the participants, they are very much updated with the current happenings that are current happenings out in the whole world. For example, they have today customers, they have access to the services like Dow Jones or Twitter, and any significant development happening in the market is totally instantaneously received by other market, which might be situated at a very far off place, or it might have a global impact. So when I say global impact, you might be knowing like the financial crisis during 2009, America's financial crisis was something which shook the whole world. So that is how the foreign exchange market works. Like the foreign exchange market might be situated at different places across the globe, but they are functioning under one roof. Now, when we talk about what are the currencies that are traded, the US dollar is actually the vehicle currency. Like this is one currency. This is one currency that denominates the international transactions. Apart from US dollar, euro as well as yen, they have a larger share of the market. I repeat again, US dollar is actually the vehicle currency. Like every country, whenever they are going to trade for, they trade for US dollar. Apart from US dollar, whatever countries trade for, they go for euro as well as yen. Now, when we talk about physical markets, in physical markets, like if you'll talk about centers like Paris, or if you'll talk about centers like Brussels, the foreign exchange business, it takes place at a very fixed place, like if there is a local stock exchange building. So when we talk about this physical markets, the bank, they meet, and in the presence of representative of the central bank of other countries, they bargain, they fix the rate of number of currencies. This like whenever they are fixing the rate of number currencies, it is basically called as fixing. And once the rates are fixed, it is executed to the customers, it is given to the banks. So this is like whenever these transactions happen, whenever the procedure of exchange rate for the commercial transactions, it is not at all market determined, and it is not influenced by one bank. It is like whatever, like आज US डॉलर का जो exchange rate इंडिया के रुपीस के अगेंस्ट में है, वो एक मार्केट डिटरमाइन नहीं करता है, ना ही एक बैंक का इन्फ्लुएंस होता है. It is like they take into account what is its exchange price throughout the world, and on that basis the rates are influenced, either आगे बढ़ता है या नीचे होता है. So who are the participants in foreign exchange market? It is basically corporates. When I say corporates, they are business houses, international investors, multinational corporations. Like they meet their genuine trade or investment requirements. They either buy or they sell currencies, and they also speculate what trade currencies they are in require, or what exchange control regulations they require. Like they operate by placing orders with the commercial banks. The deals between banks and their clients, they actually form a retail segment. Like in India, if you'll see, there is a regulation which has been passed, something called as possession and retention of foreign currency 2000, regulation 2000. It says like every Indian citizen or every Indian resident, they can have foreign currency up to 2000 US dollar. You can have it in your hand. After if you are having currencies more than 2000 US dollars, it is either you need to surrender it to any authorized dealer, or you need to make a receipt, like from where exactly you have received this $2000. मतलब अगर 2000 यूएस डॉलर्स है तो वो चल जाएगा, अगर 2000 से ज्यादा है आइदर आपको सरेंडर कर देना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो 7 दिन के अंदर एक रिसिप्ट बनाना पड़ेगा कि आइदर यू हैव हेल्ड दिस इनकम फ्रॉम अब्रॉड, और इट इज एन इनहेरिटेंस, और इट इज अ रेम्यूनरेशन, और इट इज अ लीगल सेटलमेंट। इनमें से अगर आपको कुछ भी होता है तो आपको एक रिसिप्ट बनाना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो 90 डेज के अंदर यू हैव टू डिक्लेयर कि मेरे पास इतना फॉरेन एक्सचेंज या फॉरेन डॉलर्स या कोई भी फॉरेन करेंसीज आपके पास है। Now the second player in the market is our commercial banks. Commercial banks actually buy and sell currencies for their clients, like they also operate on their own. When a bank actually enters into a market, they correct the excess or the sale or the purchase option of the foreign currencies, and like commercial banks अगर हम देखा जाएगा foreign exchange market में, they hardly constitute 5% of the total transaction, because a major portion of that volume is actually used for retail banking. For transaction which is having a very large volumes, banks directly deal among themselves. For smaller transaction, they deal with intermediaries or brokers. Then there are exchange brokers. Exchange brokers matlab they facilitate deal between banks. In the absence of any exchange broker, banks have to contact each other for quotes. Suppose like if there are 150 banks at a center and they are obtaining the best quote for a single currency, a dealer they have to contact to 149 banks. Now for example, एक फॉरेन एक्सचेंज के इसमें अगर 150 बैंक्स शामिल हुए हैं और एक करेंसी का सबसे बेस्ट कोटेशन क्या है या सिंगल करेंसी कोटेशन क्या है, फॉर एग्जांपल आज के दिन में मुझे डॉलर कितने में मिलेगा, तो हमें 149 बैंक्स कितना प्राइस कोट कर रहे हैं उसको देखना पड़ेगा। Who among them is having a favorable quotation और जिसका लो कॉस्ट है इन टर्म्स ऑफ टाइम एंड मनी, तो उसको वो बैंक्स प्रिफर करते हैं। तो ये काम कौन करते हैं, ये काम एक्सचेंज ब्रोकर्स करते हैं। सो द बैंक्स दे हैव टू लीव विद द ब्रोकर कि वो कितना आज के दिन में उनका कितना करेंसी है, आज के दिन में वो कितना रेट देते हैं। दे नेम द काउंटर पार्टीज and they make a deal until and unless that is acceptable by them. The exchange brokers they take into consideration कि जब तक डील खत्म नहीं होता, जब तक डील पक्का नहीं होता, they have to be very much they have to be present in the banks. Like for example in India, the banks they directly deal करते हैं through recognized exchange brokers, but there are certain accredited exchange brokers जो अलाउ करते हैं कि एनी टाइप ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट जो होता है, ऑथराइज्ड डीलर्स जो होते हैं वो अलाउ करते हैं, एंड ऑल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स they are subject to the rules and regulations of foreign exchange dealers, and they are subject to rules and regulations of Association of India. Now when we talk about central bank, they intervene in the market, they try to influence the exchange rate and change it from that, like that would be result of like private supply and demand. The central bank actually transacts in the market on its own, and it tries to buy and sell. In case of US dollar, it tries to buy and sell. Now आपका जो है फॉरेन एक्सचेंज मार्केट में सेटलमेंट कैसे होता है, सेटलमेंट होता है there is a exclusive network, something called as SWIFT, SWIFT, that is Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. It is a cooperative society, and it is actually owned by 250 banks in Europe and North America, and registered as cooperative society in Brussels or Belgium. It is a communication network for international financial market transaction. It is actually linking more than 25,000 financial institutions throughout the world, and they have been given bank identified codes. हर बैंक का एक स्विफ्ट कोड रहता है. The messages that are transmitted from country to country, that is like via this interconnected operating centers, which is actually located in Brussels, Amsterdam and Virginia. The member countries, they are connected to the center. हर बैंक वहीं पे connect होता है, and the local banks of each country, they have to, like उनका कैसे network होता है, they have to depend upon the regional processors. Now when we talk about the SWIFT systems, it helps them in the it helps them in transacting for international payments, or it helps them in creating of statements, bank financial statements. It also helps them in creating with the international banking things. The second way जिसका होता है वो CHIPS होता है. CHIPS is CHIPS. It stands for Clearing House Interbank Payment System. It is an electronic payment system and it is owned by 12 private commercial banks, and it is which is constituted at the New York Clearing House Association. When I talk about a CHIP, it actually began its operations in 1971 and it has today grown into the world's largest payment system. Foreign exchange and all kinds of euro dollar transactions are actually settled through CHIPS. It provides a mechanism for settlement of everyday payment and receipts of numerous dollar transactions among the member banks at New York. Now, when we talk about CHIPS, चिप्स का जो इंडिया में चिप्स का जो अरेंजमेंट है, यू विल सी बैंक ऑफ इंडिया एक ऐसा है जिसका डॉलर अकाउंट है एमेक्स बैंक के साथ एंड न्यूयॉर्क, एंड देन कनाडा बैंक एक ऐसा बैंक है जिसका सिटी बैंक के साथ डॉलर अकाउंट है. लाइक एनी काइंड ऑफ फॉरेन एक्सचेंज थिंग्स दैट हैपन विद बैंक ऑफ इंडिया एंड कैनरा बैंक, बैंक ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट्स थ्रू एमेक्स बैंक ऑफ न्यूयॉर्क एंड कैनरा बैंक एक्ट्स थ्रू सिटी बैंक. नाउ उनका जो फंक्शनिंग होता है, तो बैंक ऑफ इंडिया क्या करता है, एमेक्स बैंक को मतलब इट डेबिट्स द अकाउंट ऑफ द बैंक थ्रू दिस चीप ट्रांजैक्शन. सपोज एक $1 मिलियन का ट्रांजैक्शन होगा, तो वो कैसे होगा, तो बैंक ऑफ इंडिया एक्चुअली इंटीमेट्स एमेक्स बैंक दैट हमारा एक फॉरेन एक्सचेंज होगा एंड दैट फॉरेन एक्सचेंज हैपेंस बिटवीन वन इंडियन बैंक एंड वन अमेरिकन बैंक. तो वहां पे अमेरिकन बैंक क्या करता है, एक डेबिट अकाउंट खोलता है. डेबिट अकाउंट में जो भी $1 मिलियन है वो ट्रांसफर होता है. व्हेन इट हैज टू बी ट्रांसफर्ड, इट हैज टू बी बाय इंडियन स्टैंडर्ड टाइम 4:30 के अंदर वो ट्रांसफर हो जाना चाहिए, लाइक इंडियन स्टैंडर्ड टाइम के बाद. नाउ व्हेन दिस एमेक्स बैंक रिसीव्स $1 बिलियन, तो वो एक इलेक्ट्रॉनिक चेक चिप्स के जरिए जनरेट करता है एंड वहां पे ट्रांसफर इफेक्टेड हो जाता है. लाइक वो वहां पे ट्रांसफर क्या बोलते हैं, इट इज मेंशन लाइक इट इज ओके, लाइक यू हैव द ट्रांजैक्शन इज सक्सेसफुली क्लियर्ड, क्लियरेंस बोलते हैं. नेक्स्ट डे एमेक्स बैंक जिधर भी वो US डॉलर को भेजना होता है उसको क्लियरेंस करता है. चिप्स के बाद एक चैप्स आया है, CHAPS. चैप्स स्टैंड्स फॉर क्लियरिंग हाउस ऑटोमेटेड पेमेंट सिस्टम. Though it is very similar with the arrangement of CHIPS and it exists in London. Now आपको मैंने जैसे SWIFT का बोला था, SWIFT is a very like Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. It is located, it is associated with Europe as well as North America, but mainly it is associated with Brussels, Belgium. Next मैंने आपको CHIPS बोला है. CHIPS is with New York Clearing House. CHAPS is with London Clearing House, and then there is another called was Fedware. Fedware is it is again the New York Foreign Exchange Market that clears all kind of foreign exchanges. Like it is a communication network that links computers about 7,000 banks to the Federal Reserve banks of other countries. Now, when we talk about the Fedware funds transfer system, it is operated by the Federal Reserve Bank. It is basically used for domestic payment or bank-to-bank payment or any kind of third-party payment. So this was all about your foreign exchange market. So when we talk about the foreign exchange market, there are certain type of exchange rates that we need to talk about. चार तरह के exchange rates होते हैं. When I say exchange rates is at what rate the currencies are converted, or at what rate the price of those converted currencies are determined. One minute. Okay. So when we talk about exchange rates, there is something called as a fixed exchange rate or a pegged exchange rate. The fixed exchange rate actually refers to a system where the weaker currency of the two currency in the question is actually pegged or tied to the stronger currency. For example, Indian rupees exchange होगा US dollar के, तो यहाँ पे weaker currency कौन सा है, Indian rupees. Under this fixed exchange rate, it is actually the government of the country or the central bank it determines the exchange rate and it is totally not dependent on any market forces. Now, to maintain the stability in the currency rate, the like हम जब भी डॉलर खरीदते हैं, अभी $1 is equal to how many rupees? $1 is
75.
equal to how
75.
many rupees? 75 rupees. पक्का?
Yes, ma'am.
74 rupees, 74.66 rupees. So in order to buy $1, we need to spend somewhat around 75 rupees. So Indian rupee is actually the weakest rupee that we are talking about. तो यहाँ पे जब हम exchange rate होता है, that exchange rate is basically determined by the government. Like whenever we are paying for $1, it is determined by the government and it is not much determined by the market process. For example, we are importing something from US. So if you are importing something from US, we are paying a very higher exchange rate in terms of rupees. And suppose US is importing something from us, it means US is paying very less in terms of Indian rupees. Matlab, since in US dollar is stronger than Indian rupees, so it means, so when there is an exchange which is happening, it means like India is paying more in terms of a dollar and America is paying less in terms of rupees. So why do this fixed exchange rate is basically happens? It basically happens because it ensures a stability in the foreign exchange and it encourages a foreign trade, and there is a stability in the value of the currency, and if there are any market fluctuation, it prevents them or it protects them. It promotes the foreign investments in the country and it helps them in maintaining a stable inflation rate. Now there is a flexible exchange rate. Flexible exchange rate is also known as floating exchange rate. Here the government has no role to play. There is a totally absolutely no intervention of the central bank as well as government. How is this floating exchange rate determined? It is totally determined on the market forces of supply and demand. Now, if you see the supply and demand, we see that US dollar is less in supply. That is why it is high in demand. Now, if you take into consideration any rupees of Bangladesh, you'll find that they are high in supply because Bangladesh being one of the underdeveloped countries, they try to bring out, like they try to import many goods. So their currency is higher in supply and lesser in demand. So that is called as a floating exchange rate. Like it is totally dependent on the market forces of the supply and demand, and there is absolutely no intervention of the central banks. What are the advantages of this floating exchange rate? Like here, there is no need to maintain the foreign reserves in this exchange rate. Neither there will be any kind of deficiencies or surplus in the balance of payment. Now there is something called as a managed floating exchange rate. Managed floating exchange rate is like where there is a combination of fixed and floating exchange rate. Like कहीं कहीं पे वहाँ पे central banks intervene करते हैं, participate करते हैं in the purchasing and selling of foreign currencies, and कहीं कहीं पे market demand rates देख के वो currencies का rate fix हो जाता है. So that is called as managed floating exchange rate, which is a mixture of your both fixed as well as float exchange rates. So what are the So what are the determinants or what are the factors that determine this exchange rates? The first one is your balance of payment. Balance of payments, they actually represent the demand for and the supply of foreign exchanges, and it ultimately determines the value of the currencies. जैसे हमने देखा है कि when it comes to floating exchange rate, there the government has no role to play, but it is the market demand on which the currency value of currency is where the value of currency is determined. So when it comes to exports, both any kind of visible or invisible, they represent the supply side of the foreign exchange. Export जब होता है तो वो supply side of foreign exchange रहता है. Any kind of import is actually the demand for foreign exchange. If you will put differently, like export from the country, it creates demand for the currency of the country in the foreign exchange market. The exporters here, they would offer to the market the foreign currencies and whatever they have acquired and whatever they demand in exchange of the local currencies. Conversely, अगर आप import देखोगे, imports will actually increase the supply of the currency of the country in the foreign exchange market. For example, we have started exporting cotton. Suppose we have started exporting cotton, our export is actually import for another country. सपोज हम कॉटन एक्सचेंज कर रहे हैं या वी आर एक्सपोर्टिंग कॉटन टू यूएस डॉलर, it means we are actually bringing in US dollars, and for countries like US which is trying to buy cotton from us, it means they are trying to bring in more monies. Like उनके एंगल में कैसे होता है कि कितना इंडियन रुपीज को कन्वर्ट करके वो कॉटन खरीद रहे हैं. So that is like when we are determining the exchange rate, we have to take into consideration the balance of payment. Balance of payment अगर deficit होता है, deficit मतलब like the demand for the currency of the country is lesser than its supply. So यहाँ पे the market declines. अगर balance of payment surplus होता है, मतलब the demand for currency in the exchange market is higher, it means there is a higher supply and the currency gains value. Second is when there are inflation in the country. Inflation matlab when there is an increase in the domestic prices of the commodity. Like with the increase in prices, exports क्या होते हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं कम हो जाते हैं because price may not be competitive. Like जब exports कम हो जाते हैं, demand for the currency also declines and it also results in the declining of the external value of the currency. Like in case of जैसे कि इंडिया एंड यूएस हम देखते हैं, इंडिया एंड यूएस का एक्सपीरियंस अगर हम देखेंगे, assuming 10% inflation, the exchange rate between rupee and dollar will always remain the same. But if it is inflation in India is 15% and US में 10% है, then the increase in prices would be higher in India than it is in US because India का inflation rate ज़्यादा है. India का inflation rate 15% है. So here the rupee will depreciate in value relative to US dollar. Third is interest rate. Like interest rate also has a great influence on the short-term movement of capital. When the interest rate at a center rises, it actually attracts all kind of short-term funds. This would lead to an increase in the demand for the currency, and when there is an increase in demand for the currency, the value itself will rise. So rise of interest rate is actually adopted by a country so that there will be a tight money conditions and there is a deliberate attempt to attract more of the foreign investment in the country. Fourth is money supply. An increase in money supply in the country will affect the exchange rate, causing an inflation. अगर market में ज़्यादा money supply रहेगा, higher money supply रहेगा, तो it will lead to inflation. If it is lead to inflation, then the exchange rate, like it will also affect the exchange rate directly. An increase in the money supply will lead to मतलब in the country it will relatively lead to demand, will lead to a large scale spending on foreign goods and purchase of foreign investment. Thus the supply of currency in the foreign exchange market will increase and the value of it will decline. There will be a downward pressure on the external value of the currency. In other hand, if money supply is reduced, country के अंदर अगर money supply reduce हो जाता है, so there is like हम हमेशा tight budget line में रहते हैं. So here, if there is a lower money supply, there is a lower pressure on the exchange rate. But if money supply doubles, the currency will be valued at half. Like आपके पास अगर मतलब value कैसे कम होता है? Suppose you are getting 500 rupees per month as your pocket money. If it doubles, 1000 rupees हो जाता है, तो उसका value half हो जाता है. Okay. Next is your national income. National income is national income is actually reflects the income of the residents of the country. If there is an increase in income, there is an increase in the demand for goods in the country, and if there is underutilized any production capacity in the country, it will also lead to an increase in production. So there are chances of growth as well as chances of exports. So if the national income increases to a certain extent, the foreign exchange also increases. And like with the income rise, it also leads to increase in imports, which altogether in a long run is not good. Like imports to a certain extent will lead to decline in the value of currency. So whenever there is an increase in national income, it will always lead to an increase in investment and consumption, and in its effect on the exchange rate will also simultaneously change. Now for example, there are certain research discoveries, like आप मिडिल ईस्ट में ऑयल मिलता है, research discoveries है जो जितना भी, और and you know that there is severe oil crisis in US, Canada, UK and oil importing countries like Japan, Germany. So whenever there is a discovery of oil or discovery of any valuable metal, तो उस टाइम पे क्या होता है, आपका currencies, foreign currencies change हो जाता है, like it goes on the higher side. So this was all about your factors that are affecting your foreign exchange market. Next class, I'll take you on to the functions of foreign exchange market and what are the commodities in the foreign exchange market. Okay. Downloaded and mentioned. Text. Save. So shall I leave the class now? Shall I leave the class now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.